During 2 decades of war in Afghanistan, the U.S. military suffered over 2,400 killed in action and more than 20,000 wounded by bullets, bombs, and IEDs. But one soldier's injury defied every rule of combat survival. Because Specialist Channing Moss wasn't hit by shrapnel, he was hit by the weapon itself, and he lived to tell the tale. Born and raised in Georgia, Moss came from a long line of warriors. His grandfather fought in World War II. His uncle served in Korea. His father was in Vietnam. Moss, too, chose the uniform, joining the U.S. Army right after graduating from West Hall High School. He landed in the elite 10th Mountain Division, a light infantry unit trained to fight in snow, rock, and altitude. Exactly the right kind of terrain Afghanistan is famous for. March 16, 2006. Moss, then a private first class, was part of a convoy from Alpha Company 2nd Battalion 87th Infantry Regiment. Their mission, a routine meet and greet with tribal leaders in southeastern Afghanistan near the Pakistani border. The weather was clear, too clear. Winter was ending. And in this part of the world, spring meant one thing: fighting season. The snow melts, the roads open, and the insurgents come out to play. The convoy, 5 Humvees and a pickup truck loaded with Afghan National Army troops, had to crawl through narrow drive riverbeds or wadis boxed in by steep hills on all sides. Classic terrain for an ambush, and the Taliban knew it. Suddenly, the hills exploded with gunfire. The sharp bark of AK-47s echoed all around them. Moss, manning the top-mounted machine gun on his Humvee, opened fire toward the Ridgel lines. But it was a shooting gallery, and the convoy was the target. They needed to move and fast, but as they hit the gas to escape the kill zone, something worse than bullets came flying. The RPG, it stands for Royevotam, literally handheld anti-tank grenade launcher, but you probably heard it called by its street name, rocket-propelled grenade. And this RPG replica from Goat Guns launches a dummy warhead up to 4 in at a safe 1 m an hour. And if you ever wanted to own one legally and safely, that is, well, you're in luck because today's video is sponsored by Goat Guns, makers of incredibly detailed miniature replicas of iconic weapons, including the legendary RPG. This 1:4 scale RPG comes in at 14 in long and 5 ounces of solid die-cast metal. It's finished with a real terraced in black, forest green, and rich red wood grain for maximum visual impact. This isn't just a static display piece. Check out the features. Flip up front and rear sights. The trigger squeezes just like the real deal, and it has a rugged build with a realistic feel in hand. So whether you're reenacting video game rocket jump mayhem or just perfecting your miniature arsenal, this Goat Guns RPG is for you. Oh, and one last thing, soldier. Use our code at checkout for 10% off. The model fired that day was an RPG-7, a Soviet-designed weapon from the 1960s that's cheap, deadly, and in constant circulation across war zones. Its warheads can destroy tanks, helicopters, bunkers, and yes, Humvees. Insurgents launched its salvo. One rocket hit the Afghan pickup, killing 2. Another smashed into the windshield of Moss's vehicle, nearly decapitating Staff Sergeant Eric Wynn in the front seat. Then came the unthinkable. Moss felt the impact. At first, he thought he'd been thrown against the truck. He tried to return fire, then noticed something odd, smoke coming from himself.
I thought I got slammed up against the truck and I went to return fire again. Then I smelled something smoking and I looked down and it was me smoking.
Wynn turned around and froze. Sticking out of Moss's body was a live RPG. The warhead had punched through Moss's left hip, torn through his pelvis, and was protruding from his right thigh. A 3-foot-long explosive still intact, and it hadn't detonated yet. The RPG-7's warhead has a kill radius of about 30 feet. Inside the Humvee, there were 4 soldiers. One explosion would have obliterated everyone, but fate intervened. Also in the Humvee was 23-year-old medic, Specialist Jared Angel. Without hesitation, he leapt into action. He stabilized Moss, packed the wounds, and kept the rocket as still as possible. One wrong move could trigger the detonator.
I'm going to do everything I can. You keep fighting with me. I'll keep fighting with you.
An airlift was called in, but no one mentioned the live RPG sticking out of Moss. Military regulations are clear. You don't fly live ordnance, period. But when the helicopter landed and the crew saw Moss's condition, they didn't hesitate. Crew Chief Christian Roberts made the call.
We're not going to leave an American soldier to die in the middle of Afghanistan.
With incredible care, they loaded Moss aboard and took off, essentially carrying a flying bomb. They arrived at Oregon E Aid Station. The case was handed over to surgeons Major Kevin Kirk and John O. and explosive ordnance disposal tech Sergeant Dan Brown. An X-ray showed a miracle. The main explosive charge had detached. What remained inside Moss was the detonator charge. Still dangerous, just slightly less catastrophic.
That means we won't die, we'll just lose our hands.
You know we're surgeons, right?
Yeah, I understand that.
Brown donned body armor, took a hacksaw, and very gently cut off the RPG's tail fins. Then, facing the detonator towards his own chest, hoping his armor would catch the blast if it went off, he slowly pulled the warhead free from Moss's body. No boom. He ran outside to a secure pit and detonated it. Major O would later say, "It was the loudest sound in my whole life." With the immediate danger gone, the surgeons repaired what they could. Moss had lost large portions of his intestines. He was flown to Germany, then to Walter Reed Medical Center in the US. By his side, his wife, pregnant at the time, and their young daughter. Moss endured multiple surgeries. He learned to walk again with a cane. His left leg would never be the same, but he survived. Eventually discharged from the Army, Moss went to college and built a career helping fellow veterans. He became a husband, a father, a survivor.
I'm not supposed to be here. A lot of us shipped out from boot camp and didn't come back. Thank God I'm still here.
Humble words from a man who took a direct hit from a rocket meant to kill tanks and lived.